Welcome to the channel. Welcome, all you creepy people of the internet. It's half time at the moment between Real Madrid and Atletico, and I thought I would jump on now while my thoughts are still fresh. And if I had to kind of come away from that first half, it's 2-2. I don't know how the game's going to finish, but if I had to come away with kind of one thought, it would probably be: do we ever practice defending set pieces or crosses? We look atrocious. Last season, it was one of our biggest flaws, I suppose. Going into the Arsenal game, I was so worried we were going to concede at set pieces. We ended up obviously conceding 2 free kicks, but it hasn't seemed to improve this season. Even though Huijsen is 6'5", Alvaro Carreras is much taller than Fran Garcia, and yet we still look vulnerable. This is probably Huijsen's first game in which he's really struggling. I mean, it's not just his defending crosses; also his distribution has been all over the place as well. And it's not only him; it's Militao, it's Tchouaméni, but we're just getting bullied in the air. Obviously, he's young. He's 20 years old. I'm sure he's going to learn from this, but it's a real big challenge for him at the moment. And I feel like this game could go either way. The first half was probably a tale of two halves, I would say. The first 20 minutes was all Atletico. We couldn't beat the press. We couldn't keep the ball. They looked threatening. They were dribbling past our midfield. And then after conceding, we reacted fantastic. That awesome Gula-Mbappe connection that I've talked about thrived again. Great reaction from Real Madrid. We kept the ball better. And in the last kind of 10 minutes or so, it was just cross after cross from Atleti. And credit to Atleti, their crosses are on the money. They are perfect crosses. And they look so threatening. I know sometimes it is kind of impossible to defend. If a cross is beautiful and the attacking player's got the run on the defender, it is really difficult to defend. But we've got to either stop the crosses or we have to do something in this second half, because otherwise Atletico, they just look like they're going to score again at the moment. But I don't know where this is going to go. I will pick up the video, in the end of the second half pretty soon. So see you soon. So have a look. The game's still being played at the moment. We're in the 90th minute, 92nd minute. And I just wanted to get on to say I hate, it's so frustrating when it's in the 90th minute and Tchouaméni and Asensio are passing it around the halfway line like we're 3-0 up. Cross the ball, get it forward, do something. I mean, it's the... I see this in a lot of modern football as well. The lack of urgency to get the ball forward, it drives me insane. So I decided to go out after the game and enjoy the beautiful sun in Santiago. I'll include a few videos maybe here or something, but I was a bit disappointed after the game finished, and I didn't want to talk about football. So it's quite a few hours later now, and I've calmed down. Where to start with that game? I mean, first of all, I did want to say I thought the referee was pretty poor. There was a lot of cheating in that game. I was obviously annoyed by the Atleti players. I thought they were rolling around constantly in that second half. Obviously, I'm aware Real Madrid players do that. Vinicius goes down easily. I thought Carreras died for a penalty, I think, in that second half, sorry. Mbappe went down easy. So it's not just a Real Madrid problem, but I thought Atleti were much worse than us, and the referee let that go. So that was my I think that was one of the most frustrating parts of that second half for me. But yeah, let's try and dissect the game a little bit then. Xavi failed his first real test as a Real Madrid manager. I've been a little bit hesitant to get too carried away with the performances because the press, I am convinced, is not as good as we thought it could be. There are moments in some of the games against the lesser teams where we look like we're pressing very well. But when it comes to the big games, it was a problem we had last season. Our midfield is too easily overrun. We actually had 4 midfielders in that game, and it still looked like we were short of a midfielder. I mean, it was so easy for them to get at our defence. It was so easy for them to get through the midfield. It is very easy sometimes when you lose a game, especially when you concede 5 games, to just think everyone had a bad game, because it tends to be that way. When you win, most players played pretty well, and when you lose, most players played pretty bad. But it's a little bit simplistic to look at that. I mean, I thought Gula, for example, was great. I thought he was probably our best player on the pitch. He escaped blame for me. I was very surprised when he got substituted off. If we look at the starting lineups, when they were announced, I was relatively happy, I've got to say. I like the fact that he didn't drop Gula just because Bellingham's back. I was a little bit worried about that. But in hindsight, Bellingham wasn't fit to start that game. I mean, he was pretty much anonymous. He had a couple of good tackles, but he was pretty anonymous in that game. So I think Bellingham shouldn't have started. But I don't really put much of this blame on Alonso, I've got to say. To me, it was a lot more of the players, their decision-making. I thought both Carreras and Huijsen had the worst games of their Real Madrid careers so far. They're both very young, so I'm sure this will be a learning experience. We have to work on defending, crosses, set pieces. This is something Alonso needs to work on. If this continues to happen for the rest of the season, then you can maybe start to blame Alonso a bit, but I blame the players a lot more than Alonso for this game. We just really didn't look like scoring in that second half. I don't know if the heads dropped. I mean, Atleti defended very well. I was so surprised when Gula got taken off because he was the one who I thought could unlock their defence. We were so predictable. Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, when he came on, it was so predictable and it was so slow. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how long this video is going to be, to be honest. There's not much interesting positives I can say about this game. And it just seems a bit pointless to just shit on the team when, most of the fan base will be doing that right now, so I don't need to join in. Now, one thing I will say then that maybe is a positive, I'm going to use Man United here as an example. Now, I'm not a Man United fan. I'm very glad to see the misery that they have endured over the last, 12, 13 years since Ferguson has retired. But one thing I'll say about Man United is I'm convinced that their problems are not down to a manager, right? I mean, I think most people, when you see how many managers they've gone through and they're still terrible, at some point you've got to blame the players, right? I think it's so easy to blame a manager, and we had a lot of problems last season. Those problems are still there. I don't believe that's on Alonso at all. I thought there was a lack of intensity today, and the positive that I can take from this is I'm reading Alonso's post-match interview here, and he's saying all the right things. He knows the team lacked intensity. He said he's got an idea of what can happen, and we need to assess it further. We're going to learn from this. We are. He said it's a deserved defeat. Sometimes you hear managers come out after a game and they make excuses, or they don't seem to think that they deserve the defeat, that they actually played well. So it's great to see that Alonso knows we played shit and he's not trying to highlight it, or he's not trying to sugarcoat it, let's say. That's a positive I can take from this. This pummeling, I suppose you could call it, wasn't on Vinny and Mbappe tonight for sure. But yet again, another big game comes and goes, and I don't know if these two are going to work. I really don't. They don't. They're too similar. One thing I want to say as well, I don't really like a midfield of Tchouaméni, Bellingham, and Valverde. They're all too similar players. Their profiles, I don't think, complement each other very well. When we were dominating with Kroos, Casemiro, and Modric, it was like a perfect blend of characteristics. Those three are all too similar. None of them can dictate tempo. None of them have a great passing range. They all rely on their physicality and their pace and their power. And I think until we find that blend in midfield, we're going to struggle against the top teams, because Huijsen has helped us in terms of the distribution. He had a poor game today, but I'm sure he'll bounce back from that. But we need more. We need more players that can take the ball in tight areas, because when we play against top teams that press, we struggle to keep the ball. We do. And Courtois is also not helping, because his weakness is playing with the ball at his feet. He rushes, he hits the ball long constantly, and they recycle possession and they get possession back and then they recycle their attack. It's just we need more players who are comfortable playing in tight areas. Dani Ceballos could offer that, but I don't like a Tchouaméni, Valverde, Bellingham midfield. It's not for me. I'm going to end the video here because I don't know how long I've been talking for, but it feels like a while. So I'm sure most of you have probably already stopped watching at this point. It's the first loss of the season, really. I'm not going to get carried away. I'm sure Xabi Alonso will learn from this. He's too good of a manager not to. And I'm sure players like Huijsen, Carreras, even experienced players like Carvajal will realise, oh, shit, I'm not at the level I need to be at the moment. So it's a learning lesson from them. Let's see how we do against Barcelona and against Man City and Liverpool. We've got some big games coming up, but disappointing, but I'm not going to overreact. Let's see how we respond to that. So thanks for watching, everyone. Fuck Atletico for the way they kept rolling around on the floor. Embarrassing. And I'm sure they'll finish third or fourth again this season. But see you on the next one.